Yeah, g'day. Tom here at Dad's World. Today's job, I've got to do the piston rings on a TTR90. I've never ever done this before, so we'll see how we go. First thing I've got to do is get rid of all these plastics and maybe the fuel tank. Luckily the piston's this way. So maybe get rid of some plastics. In here we got the airbox and the carby. Got to have a bit of a look at that. And then see where we go from there, I suppose. So wish me luck. So I'm about 1 minute in. I realised I took just this front fairing off here and realised that I needed access in the top, so the fuel tank has to go. So you get the fuel tank off, seat come off, fuel tank off. There it is over here. There's the seat. Screws back in. Always put your screws back where you find them. And yeah, I'll put this plastic back on this sucker. So yeah, now I can get a bit of a look at the carby, which I would probably don't have to take off, but I am, because this one leaks all the time. If it stays sitting there, it just dribbles. So there's something wrong with the float. So I'm going to pull that off and just have a quick gander at that while I'm going as well. So the carby unbolted just from where the fuel and air goes in your intake. I've got the throttle cable, the choke, and what appears to be a high point vent. A couple of cables. I've actually taken a photo of it. Makes it a bit easier, because then when I go to put it back together, I know which colour goes to which terminal. So I'll get these off and then we'll have a look at it. Right, so I got the carby off. As you can see, carby's off. Now for those that haven't done a 4-stroke before, it's always good to take this cover. Well, you have to really. You have to take it off, because you've got to back it off and take the thing off, take the chain off, timing chain off. But what you want to make sure you do is get these covers off. You twist the inside nut and that'll put it to top dead center. If you need to know exactly where top dead center is, normally this little mark has something to do with it as well. Get it to top dead center. So then you can back this off, take the chain off, and then when the piston stays in the same spot the whole time you're messing around with it, you put it back together, you can get this timing back properly. So it's always good. Check the top dead center. You've probably got a manual. I haven't got one. Really winging it, but you should be able to figure it out. Just Google it if you can't, but yeah, I'll see if I can get it on video. So as I'm getting closer, you can see the line moving closer to this line. So what you're looking for is this here. Let me clean my screwdriver. Wants to be in line with this little notch here. So this one here, I'll spin it and it'll come around. And then in this little hole, you'll see some lines come up. The first line is actually part of the letter H. So if I can get on it, let's have a look, see what we can see. Might be too dark. So anyway, there's the first line, and that's part of the letter H. Then you come around again. Where are we? There's the back end of H, and then there's the third dot just showing up there. And this is in line with that notch. So that there is top dead center. Mind you, I've still got to take the exhaust off and get the timing chain off, but at least we know how to get it to top dead center. Cheers. So the exhaust, you can see one of the studs actually come out, which is no big deal. I'll tidy that back up, get it back in. But to actually get it to separate, I had to take more plastics off the bike so I could back off this nut here holding the back end of the exhaust on, because it wasn't that flexible. So now I've stripped the whole bike of plastics. So for anyone that's watching, take all the plastics off first. Get your carby out the way, get the exhaust out, and then have a look at it. So now I'm gonna undo these four, and that should, after I back this chain off, we'll see how we go. This here might actually, there's this spring tensioner. That just holds these two together. Right, we'll get stuck into that and see how we go. As suspected, there it is there. That just puts enough tension on that chain. Maybe not. Yeah, as suspected, the chain. There's the chain, where the chain pushes. The fucking chain. So I got the chain The timing chain tensioner off. You can see it's got a little protector on there that pushes on it. Which in turn, if you watch the chain when it goes on, I've got to get it going again. There we go. Yeah, so this chain tensioner is a bit different to a lot of the other ones I've seen. This one actually, as you do the top bolt up, see we're going to do it with one hand. Hang on a second. Hear it clicking? See the clicks? And that'll just set the tension by how hard to do the bolt up. So when you take it off, you can push the little thing in and in she goes. So there's no need to take that one off just yet. Anyway, getting there. Chain's nice and loose. So I'll be able to pull that off. Might just mark the chain as well to line up with all this with the texture. And then once the chain's off, I should be able to undo these bolts and pull the whole head off. So I'm not too sure what I did wrong with the chain, but couldn't get the bastard off, so I ended up grabbing the impact driver and just a couple little squirts, and just, and got the timing gear loose. I'll just put it back on. It can only go on one way. There we have it. As soon as that came off, a few little taps of the old taparoo, and off it came, exactly as planned. So I've already got the piston off, got the rings off. Give my hand and give it a clean. I'm only doing rings, I'm not doing a whole piston. It's only my daughter riding it around at 1k an hour. So anyway, give it a go. So day 2 on the Yamaha. I actually had a mate pop over last night. Look at the shit all over my face. I had a mate pop over last night, and me and him were just talking, and next thing you knew, the bike was back together. So I actually, because it was blowing a fair bit of smoke, it's got the new rings and all that up that end, I ended up taking the exhaust pipe off as well and cleaning it. So I took the whole thing off, pulled the baffle thing out. That was completely chock-a-block full of carbon shit, and all through here was full of oil, and all down these bottom low bends were also full of oil. The amount of shit in there was just out of control. So we got it back together. I've just put the fuel tank back on it, and now I suppose it's the moment of truth. The battery's flat, so I'm gonna have to try and kick it. Let's give it a go. That didn't even feel like it engaged. Oh, look at that. And she's running. Smoke. No smoke. Woohoo! The only problem is now when my daughter rides it, I won't be able to find her on the track. But anyway, look, it was a how to pull it apart, not how to put it back together video. So it all worked out in the end. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Now, onto the, I'll let that idle for a bit and run in, and I've actually got to get onto the KTM, so it'll be another video. Anyway, hope you learned something.